We go now to Chapter 8. Chapter 8, Discharge of Negotiable Instrument. Section 119. Instrument how discharged. A negotiable instrument is discharged A. By payment in due course by or in behalf of the principal debtor. B. By payment in due course by the party accommodated where the instrument is made or accepted for accommodation. C. By intentional cancellation thereof by the holder. D. By any other act that shall discharge a simple contract for the payment of money. C. Where the principal debtor becomes the holder of the instrument at or after maturity of his own right. So the principal debtor, the principal, it was endorsed to the principal debtor, so it was already discharged. Meaning it was already paid, fulfilled. Section 120. When a person secondary liable on discharge, a person secondary liable versus discharge. A. By any act which discharges the instrument. B. By the intentional cancellation of his signature by the holder. B. By discharge of a prior party. D. By valid tender of payment made by a prior party. C. By release of the principal debtor unless the holder's right of recourse against the party is expressly reserved. F. By any agreement binding upon a holder to the extent the time of payment to postpone the holder's right to enforce the instrument unless made by the assent of the party secondarily liable, or otherwise the right of recourse against such parties expressly reserved. Section 121. Right of the party who discharged instrument. Where the instrument is paid by a party secondarily liable thereon, it is not discharged, but the party so paying it is remitted to his former right as regard all prior parties, and he may strike out his own and all subsequent endorsers and again negotiate the instrument, except A. Where it is payable to the order of a third person and been paid by the drawer. B. Where it was made or accepted for accommodation has been paid by the party accommodated. Self-explanatory again. Section 122. Renunciation by holder. The holder may expressly renounce his right against any party to the instrument before or after its maturity. An absolute and unconditional renunciation of his right against the debtor made out after the maturity of the instrument discharged the instrument. But a renunciation does not affect the rights of a holder in due course without notice. A renunciation must be in writing unless the instrument is delivered to the persons primarily liable thereon. Section 123. Cancellation, unintentional burden of proof. A cancellation made unintentionally or under a mistake or without the authority of the holder is inoperative, but where an instrument or by any servant appears to have been cancelled, burden of proof lies on the party who alleges the cancellation was made unintentional or under a mistake or without authority. So, burden of proof, you have to prove. Section 124. Alteration of the instrument. Where a negotiable instrument is materially altered without the assent of all the parties liable thereon, it is avoided except as against party who have himself made, authorized, or assented to the alteration and subsequent endorser. Okay. Let's say, for example, the endorser had put 5,000 when the original amount was merely 3,000. The one who made the alteration then is liable to subsequent endorser. But when an endurance had been materially altered as in the hands of a holder in due course, not a party to the alteration, he may enforce payment thereof according to its original tenor. So if it's the if the promissory note come in possession to the to the possession of the holder in due course, this party could enforce payment to the original amount. Section 125. What constitutes a material alteration? Any alteration which changes the date, sum payable either for principal or interest, time or place of payment, number of relations in the parties, medium or currency in which payment is to be made, or which adds a place of payment where no place of payment is specified, or any other change or addition which alters the effect of the instrument in any respect, is a material alteration. So remember, this is important. So remember this, what constitutes a material alteration. In section 125, there is already a check. It is a complete in its form and its phase. There's a date, there's a location of payment, there is the name of the maker, and there's the sum payable, the number of the parties, the interest, or if it's in Philippine money or the currency. It's already complete. What you did is you just alter the amount. Let's say, for example, from 5,000 it becomes 8,000, or payable in Philippine currency, you change the Philippine currency to US currency, or to Euro currency, or the it's considered as material alteration. Or if you put the time of payment, or the period of payment, or the place of payment in the payment you put there, when the promissory note was drawn or issued at Albay City, and you put the place of payment in Manila, then that's already a material alteration. You make the promissory note burdensome, or you put the parties, you alter the relations of the parties, then it's considered as material alteration. So remember to memorize this A, B, C, D, and E under the material alteration. Okay. This is different from the one we're talking about, section 16, which is a blank check, because in material alteration it was already complete and you have altered the information such as is the date, time or place of payment, the amount payable, the interest, relation of parties, and the currency. So if it is not included, if it is not mentioned in A, B, C, D, and E, there is no material alteration. The one we discussed in section 16, which is a blank check, where it was the information was just put in with authority. That's a different, because this one, it was altered. There you just put the blank, not according to the authority given by the issuer or the drawer. Okay, and this is also different for the forgery. Forgery is when the signature was signed by other party, except other party rather than the issuer or the drawer. So it's a different, Later on, we're going to discuss the next lecture. We're going to recap or review our from section 1 to last section 125 of title 1, from title 1, from chapter 1 to chapter 8, and we will have some illustrations for your guidance. It is easier. So we have already reading all the sections from section 1 to section 125. So next lecture would be a review. Then after the review, we're going to have an exam. Okay, so that's the exciting part of this discussion.